Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the BXR Podcast. It has been a minute for obvious real life reasons. But we're back. Luke couldn't make it today, so we've replaced him with the greatest Halo modder ever. But we replaced him with Abyss, who does Halo modding. But hello, Abyss. Would you like to tell people about yourself?
Hi, I'm Abyss. I make Halo mods. You probably have seen the Battlefront pack. Me and Steve Ralph made that mod. That's all you really gotta know about me.
Perfect. Alrighty. So yeah, we have some good topics today. There's been a lot of games that have come out recently, especially since the last time we did the podcast. There's also some juicy topics, devs getting mad that people criticize their games, Xbox admitting defeat. They've lost, it's over. All the good stuff. So we'll see where it goes, and we'll hop on in. So first thing, we'll hit games that we've been playing. So I figure we'll just start off with the juicy one, and I can rock first for a little bit, and that is good old the best game of the year in years, Redfall. All right, this is one of the greatest games I've ever played. There's really nothing wrong with it other than pretty much every aspect of the design. But so if you haven't played Redfall, do not purchase this game. You can play it on Game Pass if you're morbidly curious, but please do not spend real money on this game. But basically the premise is you wanted a co-op looter shooter, and so you got the core there. You got loot, you got classes, you got enemies. And so you decided you wanted to spice it up, so you made some of the enemies vampires, but then you forgot to put the enemies on the map. So unfortunately, the map is very empty, and there's so many things wrong with the game. It's hard to even begin because well, first of all, it doesn't really run well. I mean, everyone was already memeing on it running at 30 FPS on Xbox before it even came out, which obviously is an issue. But it is the least of this game's issues. I think the game is just at its core a bad video game. It's really uninspired. Like the gunplay isn't very good. Like I said, the AI is really, well, first of all, you have to find the enemies, but once you do, the AI is just obscenely stupid. Like even on the higher difficulties, the human AI are just dumb, and the vampire AI are just weird because they kind of just teleport around, and they're a little bit tankier, but they're really not. I really wouldn't say they're fun to play against. And there's also this weird thing with the aim where Arcane just thought you should only have one slider for sensitivity. So you either have sensitivity that you like when you hip fire, or ADS sensitivity that you like, because when you ADS, it cuts it in a quarter. You move real slow.
Oh, it's tied together. You can't actually change the two.
Yeah. No, you can't. It's great. And so I played on an MNK, so it's a little bit more bearable. But my understanding is if you play this on a controller, aiming at stuff is actually really hard because for some reason there's not a whole lot of aim assist either. And then on top of that, you have the vampires that teleport around, so that's obviously going to make an added layer of difficulty there. But yeah, the game has no world building. I would say it has little, but I think no is a fair way to put it. You have an opening cutscene, and that is the only cutscene in the entire video game. The rest are these weird moving shot stills with talking over them. And you can talk to right now on the screen. You can talk to these people in the game, and they'll give you quests, but it's not it. You're not finding cool characters or developing characters. Your guy barely even talks. I don't even know really what you're supposed to be. You're basically just a fucking it's you're playing a silent protagonist, but you're not actually, because you do occasionally say things. But yeah, I don't know. I'll let someone else talk for a bit. I feel like I've raved enough about Redfall for a little bit.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Controller is absolutely atrocious, because that's why I played it on for I played for an hour and a half, and that's about all I could stomach of it, because it just, there's no aim assist basically, right? It just feels impossible to aim. And like you were saying with the characters as well, it's just so lifeless, because it's even right now on the screen, right, it says you can talk to them, but you can't actually talk to them. There's no real dialogue. There's no interactions. They just grunt at you,
Yeah.
or they just say hi, and it's just like, why is this even on my screen? Why can I click the button and nothing happens? This is so unintuitive. Like, it's just a miserable experience, and just, like you said, the performance on Xbox is atrocious, and it's a lifeless world. Like, if I actively try to find something to kill that's a vampire in a vampire game, that's just as bad as game design gets. Like, Fallout 76, when it came out, is 10 times better than this was. And this is the worst game I've played in the last 10 years. And that's saying something, because like a little while back, I played a couple games rated super low on whatever their Meteoric score, or however you want to put it.
Metacritic.
They were like 50s and lower. Yeah, Metacritic. And you know what? Those were better games than this. Like, they were far better. So I don't know how anyone could ever justify this game in any way. Like, obviously, you don't want to harass devs. You don't want to do stuff like that. But something went wrong with this game, and it should have just never came out. And I hope they don't spend any time trying to really fix it, because I don't think it's really worth it. I think it'd just be better if they just moved on and started working on whatever game comes next. I think that would just be better for everyone. Just admit you fucked up with this game and just move on. Like, it is what it is. It's an L.
Oh, no,
no other way to put it.
I totally agree. I think anytime you spend... So, like, there's been other games that came out rough that... Like, for example, I see a lot of people talking about Sea of Thieves, because I saw Xbox, like, confirm they want to, like, bring this back or whatever. And it's like, Sea of Thieves was a game lacking content, but the core aspects were good. This is just a bad video game that... I mean, it has content. It just isn't fun. So, like... I don't know how, unless you revamped everything, how adding more content or more missions or like an extra area would do anything to make this game more fun. It's just going to be more of the same exact thing that already is terrible. And like, I don't know, man. I've been seeing like some people get mad that some reviews, some websites gave it like a 4 out of 10. Dude, that's generous. Like, it probably does deserve a 4 out of 10 because it runs. Like, it is a working video game. It is playable. Like, you can complete the game. Like, it's not like a broken piece of poop or anything like that. But for what you would expect out of Arcane, this is horrible. I mean, this is just, I would say there is not a single redeemable quality about this game. Maybe other than like some of the concept art looks cool. But like, besides that, nothing in this video game. Yeah, it's not even in game. But like, nothing in this game when I'm playing it makes me think like, yo, they should have built on this, because there's nothing there. Like, it's just like you said, it's lifeless. I think the gunplay is not very fun. The AI is horrific. The looting system is like, if you played a Borderlands game and you decided to copy it, but you forgot like part of what made Borderlands' stupid loot system fun is like the really wacky shit that you can get. And for the most part, you just get like a green pistol that gives you extra accuracy. It's like, thanks, that was fun. Like, I really enjoy that. So I don't know, man. It is not a fun video game. And
this game was delayed, correct?
Yeah, it was.
So it's coming out like this after it was already delayed once. Like, that's crazy. And I think during the interview with Phil Spencer, he kind of commented on why they didn't delay it again. And he made it sound like the devs had a vision and they, fulfilled that vision with this game. So it didn't, the way he described it, it didn't really sound like more time would have given them, a better game, maybe a less buggy game. But it seems like what we got with Redfall, like, this was their vision. This is what they intended for the game to be, and just seems like many people aren't really vibing with it.
Yeah, I did see like I don't know if it was Arcane or Xbox said that their internal review was like 10 to 20 points higher than when they actually sent it out to like review websites. But dude, I want to know what they saw, because like this just isn't good.
Yeah, and did you see this tweet from Robert Bowling the other day? Kind of.
No,
it did numbers. I don't know if you've seen it. You
clown himself.
You can find it in my tweets if you want to pull it up. But he said that he tweeted that the old ways of making AAA games is dead. Stop hiding your development behind a wall for 2 to 5 years so people don't know what they're buying until it's too late. Stop relying on bullshit trailers and just release solid gameplay and playable builds. No NDAs or rules. He said, I will continue to release ugly playable builds focused on refining gameplay from player feedback that gradually get better looking over time. It's much better than hiding your game for years while I perfect the look of it and then releasing it broken gameplay over hype all day. And yeah, I agree with a lot of that. Like, I do think that is the way. Pulling back the curtains, more transparency, and just showing, gamers what you're working on. Because, like, we got this with Redfall. Like, they work on this game, behind closed doors for years, and it's something that, like, many people don't even want. So it's just a colossal waste of time.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with his point for like multiplayer games, but I don't know how well that would work for something like this, because like this is one of those games where let's pretend it was good. Like let's just pretend this game is Borderlands, right? If you played Borderlands throughout its development cycle, by the time it comes out, like, do you even want to play it anymore? You know what I mean? Whereas, like, with his game, because they're working on an extraction shooter, that's, like, totally different, because it's just, like, a multiplayer
I'm not saying
game.
Playing it. I'm just saying...
Oh, show it.
I like that. Yeah, show it. Yeah, just be more transparent about what you're working on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how long were they working on Redfall before they even, unveiled it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think, I think transparency is the future. That would be much better.
Yeah,
especially since like now with the current technology, like you can definitely do like what I said, what Robert Bowling, Midnight Society are doing right now with their game, and just giving people like little slivers of sections of what the game potentially could be like, and taking feedback along the way. The hardest part about that though is, like, I would say I couldn't imagine it. I could imagine it slowing down the process though of like doing like these public play tests and getting feedback and acting on that feedback. But then again, you're taking a little extra time to get people exactly what they want, kind of thing, out of the game.
And I mean, you don't have to. I mean, I'm not saying they have to do play tests. I'm not saying they have to act on all the feedback. But I just think it'd be a win-win if, developers are asking consumers what they want, and then developers are giving them the game that they want. I just think that's a win-win, instead of the way it is now, where they develop a game for several years before they reveal it, and then it might be a game that doesn't even appeal to many gamers, like we see with Redfall. So
very true. Yeah,
I think Redfall has so many. Well, obviously, like, dude, I would love to hear the story, because, like, I don't know, man. I know you said that, like, Xbox or Phil Spencer said they fulfilled their vision, but, like, dude, I find it hard to believe that this was the real vision. Maybe it was a compromised vision based on, like, they ran out of time or something. But yeah, in my opinion, this is a video game that should have been canceled. Like, Xbox should have. I know Xbox is like really hands off with their studios. I think it's time to not be. I think it's time to fucking play this and cancel it. Like, I think legitimately this game shouldn't exist. Like, they should have thrown away all the dev money, because all this did is, sure, it'll recoup some of the money because it'll sell some copies, but this is a huge stain on not only like Arcane and Bethesda, but Xbox, because Xbox isn't doing very well, and putting out a game of this quality is not good. Like, this, not that it's like 1-to-1, it's different developers and everything, but like, if this is a game from Xbox, like, what is Starfield gonna be? Like, I hope to God that is better than this. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally different studio, so like, hopefully it's not related. But like, if this is the type of game that Xbox is willing to put out as a first party, like, exclusive, I mean, since it's on PC, it's not like exclusive, but like, if this is what Xbox is willing to put out as a first party game, like, their standards are so low. Like, basically it's like a playable video game. That's the standard for Xbox at the moment, and that should not be the standard. Because, like, dude, when was the last time that I hate the console wars, it's so stupid, but like, when was the last time a first party PlayStation game was this underwhelming?
Well, I also say that PlayStation also has been kind of focusing more on the single player experience, even though this is kind of like it's kind of a single player co-op kind of game, but that's they have also been focusing. more
I
on that side.
agree.
'Cause, like I can't think of any like PlayStation multiplayer games besides like Call of Duty. I guess you can kind of count that because they got that exclusive deal that are really kind of
well, nah, that's
carrying
third party.
the platform.
But like,
Yeah,
that's a Bethesda issue though. That's like they took Arcane, who made some really, really good single player experiences, and this is Arcane Austin. So like technically, I think they only made Prey, but like Prey was a good video. I know it like got kind of some mid reviews at the start because it was broken, but like once they fixed it, it's a solid video game if you're into like an immersive sim type game. Prey is really good. Now, if you look at Arcane as a whole, they've also made the Dishonored series and stuff like that. So they've made some very good single player video games. They didn't need to make a shitty co-op live servicey game. Like, I'm not saying Arcane chose to do that, but Arcane and or Bethesda made the choice to make this video game. So I don't think you can like cop out and be like, oh, well, yeah, but that's because Sony makes single player stuff. It's like, no, I think Sony just makes shit that they think is good. Like,
exactly. And also that's a good point to make too, because I want you to think about this. Arcane's really good at making single player games, right? COVID hits and you try to make a multiplayer game, which they're not good at the worst possible time, and it comes out like this. And then you look at something like the Suicide Squad game with now the Arcane devs who are great at making a single player Batman experience, and then you put them on a multiplayer experience, and then it just looks generic. So it kind of comes down to making devs make games outside of their wheelhouse that they're just probably not good at making. Or I shouldn't really say they can't make them or can't be good at making them, but it's just like you're just putting them in the wrong direction when you're trying to like deliver a good product to a consumer. Like you got to think strategically, like what would they be best at making? And clearly Arcane shouldn't be making a multiplayer game. Whatever the devs over there, that the Arkham Batman games probably shouldn't be making a multiplayer game. It's like, yeah, Rocksteady. So it's just like, I don't know who comes up with these ideas, but sometimes it's just, they just push these studios in the wrong direction, whoever's making that decision.
Yeah. No, I agree fully, and it's hard to know because we're not in the studio. Maybe Arcane pitched this to Bethesda, who then like, because I believe this would have started before Xbox bought them, so like this was probably in development.
Oh, yeah.
So Xbox wouldn't have been around for like the pitch, but like Xbox definitely could have been around to shut it down. Like they could have been like, this is not going out. Like we need good video games, and we'll piggyback on this later, but it's like Phil Spencer comes out and says like Xbox can't win the console war. It's like, well, fucking no shit if you're willing to put this out. Like you guys have already fucked your goodwill with like every other bad Xbox first title game that like either came out not complete or with not enough content, and then you're just like, yeah, just go ahead and ship Redfall out. That should be one of our 2 AAA titles for the year. This and Starfield. This will hold up the first half of the year. So
yeah, and I'm starting to doubt that, Phil Spencer knows what a good game is after he made that, comment about, great games not swaying people to buy, an Xbox over a PlayStation or whatever. It's yeah, he might just not know what a good game is, because this is far from it.
Yeah, and well, I don't even get the premise there, because like the premise is they can't compete with Nintendo and Sony in the console game, so they've moved to the cloud gaming side, right? If you made good games, it would sell more of your shitty cloud gaming service. So like I don't even get what the premise is there. So like
it didn't make any sense.
So like I mean
there's still games, yeah, like
yeah.
Well, yeah, and I've seen people make arguments like, oh, you look at God of War sold 20 million copies or whatever. Well, there's 120 million PlayStation 4s and 5s, so is it really a system seller? But I'm thinking like, okay, maybe everyone who plays God of War doesn't play Spider-Man, and the people that play Spider-Man doesn't play God of War, but if you sell 20 million of each, that's 40 million players coming back to your consoles. So it's like, I think it's just a silly premise that they can't move systems.
No, and it's a combined thing. Like one game isn't going to sell a console most likely. But like, yeah, if you look at PlayStation's full suite, they have Spider-Man, they have The Last of Us, they had Uncharted. I don't know when the last game came out was, but like they have the God of War games. They have all these different franchises. And so you just kind of pick and choose. You're like, oh, I like this one and this one. Well, like, yeah, I mean, I'm going to get a PlayStation, right? And whereas like you look at Xbox and like, what? Like in recent years, what's a good Xbox game?
Halo Infinite.
Hi-Fi Rush, I guess. A single
Sure,
player
but like
shadow dropped game.
Yeah, like Hi-Fi Rush isn't selling consoles. Like, like that. I mean, it's a very good game, and like that's probably the best Xbox game in years. But like, arguably, it's not even like a full. Like I have to imagine that didn't have the budget of Redfall, right? Like Redfall was supposed to be the big game with all the marketing, whereas Hi-Fi Rush was literally just shadow dropped onto us. And that game is leaps and bounds better than this game because it had a good vision. It was just like they took their vision and they made a game around it, and it actually made sense. Whereas like this game, I mean, like I guess it has a vision. Like it's supposed to be a co-op looter shootery thing with vampires, but like. Yeah, I feel like in the year 2023, you need a little more than that.
And yeah, you mentioned Hi-Fi Rush, and yeah, like Phil Spencer mentioned that in the interview as well. And it's like, I didn't play it, but like, yeah, it might be a great game, but like, how many people are playing it now? How much like replayability does that game have?
He talks about that, yeah, in that interview, saying that like, yeah, Hi-Fi Rush came out with glowing reviews, people loved it. A lot of people played it, but now you have like Age of Empires game more players than Hi-Fi Rush right now.
Yeah, is Hi-Fi like is that a good game that people are going to be playing for years? Because I remember back in the day, we got good games that were good and fun for several years in a row. So
yeah, I mean, I'm
like,
not
that's
gonna.
Another thing, like even if a game comes out now that's good, it doesn't have like the longevity for people to be playing it for like a year at least.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Hi-Fi Rush is like a one and done experience. Like, I feel like you played it, you went, oh, this is really good, and then you don't really ever go back to it. Like, it just kind of is what it was, which is fine. I mean, I think for what that game is, I think that's what it should be. Like, it doesn't need to be an overly replayable thing. Not every game needs to be, but like,
no.
But yeah, you do need, like, if we go back to, because obviously Phil Spencer talked about how they lost like the most important generation with the Xbox One, where they just fucking sucked. But if you go back to like the 360, you had the Halo franchise with granted Halo 2 wasn't on 360, but like coming into the 360 era, you could still play Halo 2 on your 360. Then you had stuff like Gears of War. Back then, the stupid Call of Duty exclusive shit was on Xbox, not PlayStation. But you also had other Xbox things like Forza was good, although Forza is still good, but you had like Crackdown was actually really good back in the day, and I feel like you had a bunch of other like Xbox games that were good, whereas now it's like they're really nothing. I mean, Sea of Thieves is probably one of their better games now, but how many people are really playing Sea of Thieves?
All right.
I'll have to tell you, they don't share those numbers anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you
also,
can see the Steam numbers.
Stupid saying, yeah, but it's also stupid saying Xbox kind of lost or whatever the most important generation or however you want to put it, because like when you think of Nintendo and the Wii U,
oh yeah, it was the same
Wii U
one.
Did absolutely terrible. They sold 13 million units total. Like the console was bad, and Nintendo was like, okay, well, I guess we better do better next time, and they did. So it's like.
Yeah, every generation is the most important generation, you know, because
exactly
that you're writing, you're rolling the dice, going like, this is exactly what people want. This is going to be the platform to invest for our company to invest in. Like every generation is supposed to be the most important one.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the Wii U, to its credit, like had decent games. There's the console was such a disaster, and it was like marketed terribly, and like. I feel like a lot of people just thought it was like an update to the Wii, and you had like the tablet was pretty gimmicky, so it was like a weird console for sure. But yeah, like you said, Nintendo went back to the drawing board. They went like, what does Nintendo do really well? Well, we do mobile gaming really well, but what if we like combine mobile gaming with the power of like a console, right? And so you get the Switch, you combine that with some of like their best IP, and you end up with like a fucking fantastically selling console with a bunch of good games on it. Whereas like Xbox, they looked at the Xbox One, went like, yeah, we didn't really release a lot of good stuff during this generation. they come out with a new console and it's just more of the same. So yeah, you're not going to win people back if for 2 generations in a row you've shown that you don't put out good video games.
I mean, yeah, because like 360, I feel like they did pretty well for themselves on the 360 days, but then, not so much right now with the Xbox One because they're like NFL. And everyone's like, what? And then
yeah,
the Xbox Series X looked great, but then it's just like now the content's just kind of missing when it comes to that platform.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. And it's like, Xbox has bought all these devs, and it's like someone has got to put out something that's decent. Like, come on, guys. Like, you bought up so many devs, and it does look like probably they're not going to get Activision, which like, I don't. Not that I was like thinking, oh my god, that fucking enemy just walked past this guy in the video. Not that I was like banking on COD and Activision to come save Microsoft, but it's like at some point they need to either buy a dev or like create a studio or like enable a studio to start making good stuff again. It's like, dude, you need good video games. You can't just have like either shitty games or like average games. Yeah, I mean, games don't sell anything.
I mean, that comment is just crazy. That like that's not gonna drastically like sway whether somebody buys an Xbox or a PlayStation. Like great games. I mean, that's a crazy statement.
Yeah,
like people are just so loyal to the hardware, and I mean some people are like,
right.
I don't think most people are. Most people are gonna go wherever the good games are. How many people switch from PlayStation 2 to fucking Xbox because of Halo? How many? Tons. Like, did he forget that?
Yeah.
Apparently.
No, for sure. All right. Well, I think that's enough Redfall for now. Someone want to talk about something else they played recently?
Recently played some Jedi Survivor. Got into that recently, and it's pretty freaking awesome. And also, I've just completely fallen in love with the photo mode that comes with the game. Is actually like it's going to triple my game time with Survivor because of just wanting to take a picture every like 5 steps because the game just looks so good. But and I've been playing it on PC, and that's kind of like the main platform people have been complaining about because of the performance. And yeah, like especially like the very first part of the game on Coruscant, it's pretty rough on some parts, especially with like the default settings the game will give you, with like, your system can handle extreme graphics, but then you play it and you're getting like 40 frames, It's like, I don't think it can. And especially there's some parts where I was getting like sub 30 frames as well. Like some parts are pretty rough. But then I played it for my first play session. Like, yeah, I was even thinking like I can make a troll video, like playing Fallen Survivor until I get 60 frames, and it'd be like an 8-hour long video or something, But then like the second time I jumped on and played without OBS running and just shadow play running in the background and stuff like that, and it actually ran kind of well. Probably was like I was probably getting roughly 50 frames would probably be my guess, but like I don't know, like it wasn't as choppy or as terrible as it was when you first boot up the game. So it could be maybe just like that early section is pretty rough. I have to play more of it because I've gotten to the part where I just got off of Coruscant, which is kind of like basically like the first, like basically the tutorial of the game, right? Like the first 2 hours of every game you play is like basically the tutorial, like introduce you to all the mechanics and stuff, right? And so I'll need to put more time in it. But like the second time I played without recording, it actually ran pretty well. But like so far, it's like if you liked Fallen Order, dude, you're gonna like Survivor pretty much.
Yeah, that's fair. I saw like even despite the terrible PC optimization, it's still like a top seller on Steam. So it seems like, I mean, I'm sure it dissuades some people from buying it, but it seems like a bunch of people just bought it anyways, which is like,
I mean, it's Star Wars. It prints money.
Yeah, it's unfortunately like I think it's like a good and bad thing. Like I guess it's good because like the game, from what I understand, I haven't played it, but like from what I've gathered from reviews and stuff, it is a good video game. The problem is, like, at the same time, it just encourages more devs or publishers to push out shit that's broken on platforms because we'll just buy it anyways. So it's like, why would they spend an extra month or two fixing the PC optimization when they could just ship it and fix it afterwards and sell a bunch of copies anyways?
Apparently, that's the same thing that happened with Fallen Order as well. Like the launch of the game, the performance was pretty bad. Not as bad as this one though, but it still wasn't. It still wasn't good. Like worth launching good kind of thing. But then because when I actually played Fallen Order, then it was all fine. And that was within like the year of it releasing. So I'm hoping Respawn will be quick on the patches. They've seemed pretty okay so far when it comes to getting updates out and stuff like that, but we just kind of have to wait and see, you know?
Yeah. I saw a beautiful quote tweet from some dev on this one, and it was a dev that fucking worked at Naughty Dog, and he's like, guys, ports or PC optimization is hard, okay? There's a lot of different hardware. It's not our fault. Coming from the man who just fucking launched The Last of Us on PC.
Yeah, right.
Like, all right, bro.
I wanted to play that so badly because I haven't played The Last of Us, and then it just released super busted.
Yeah.
And then apparently I checked out some videos to see like if after some patches it's helped, and it's better, but still like kind of not even worth checking out.
Yeah, we're in a weird time because like back during like the 360 and the Xbox One era, like shit PC ports, and I'm just using the word port like unanimously or whatever. Like I know some games aren't ports because they're made for PC, but like we got a ton of shitty PC ports back then that just didn't even work. Like that Arcane game, or not the Arkham game that was just straight up unplayable on PC for like years, and that had to be delisted because it was so fucked. Like it seems like we're re-entering the dark age of PC gaming, where it's just like it's literally if it's a AAA video game, you're rolling the dice if it runs on PC. Because even MW2 was terrible, and like Warzone 2, when Warzone 2 dropped, dude, you would crash all the time on PC, whereas like it kind of worked on consoles, and it's like, dude, is this just the norm now, or just PC versions of games just going to be terrible? Like, not that I'm like a PC elitist, but it's like, I don't know, man. If you're going to sell me a fucking $70 product, could you please just make it work? That'd be like, that's
right.
That's step one.
Like PC optimization is hard, doesn't work when it's a $70 game, and there's plenty of PC games out there that are optimized well and don't have all these issues.
Because like RE4 just came out and that ran beautifully on PC. Or what did you think, Jared? Or did you play it on PC?
Oh yeah, it runs. Yeah, I've tried on PC. It runs really well. Even with like 50 to 60 mods on it, it runs really well. So they killed that.
Yeah,
or
I didn't mod it,
but Dead Space ran great on PC as well.
After I got my fucking my spacebar to work, the game ran great. I had to do some like weird, I don't remember now, but there was like I had to do some weird fix where like my spacebar just wouldn't work, and you had to unbind the controller jump like keybind, otherwise you not jump, but you know how you like. Isn't spacebar melee or whatever in Dead Space? That's
stomp, isn't it?
Yeah, stomp. Like it's kind of a necessary thing, and it just didn't work at first. And I had to go unbind it from your controller, and then it would work. I don't know, it was weird, but like, yeah, even that ran pretty decently. But yeah, I don't know. It's a toss up. Like PC ports or PC versions of games, like you might just be getting trash, and it like BHB said it. It's like. Yeah, I get it. You're putting out a game for a ton of different hardware, but also like you're charging a lot of money for it. If you're not willing, the problem is like consumers don't do this, but I wish if companies weren't willing to put in the effort to release a PC version of a video game, people would stop buying it, at least at launch. Like I'm not saying don't buy Jedi Survivor, but honestly, if you're on PC, you shouldn't pay full price for it. You should wait till it's on sale, and you should wait till it's fixed. Because like all the people that bought this game for, I don't know if it's $60 or $70, whatever it is, all that shows to EA is, yeah, they'll just buy it anyways. We'll just fix it later. Like we don't need to make sure it runs well because we can fix it in post, which is like it's just terrible.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. I do think a lot of the blame, like it falls on the consumers that are spending money on unfinished games.
Oh, for sure.
I put a lot of the blame on people for like, the reason microtransactions are in games is because y'all are buying them. Many people are bitching about this stuff, but you're still spending money on it. Like, it's your fault that things are the way they are.
No, I agree. And money talks as much as people pretend it doesn't. But like every single year we all bitch about how COD is, you know, like not doing the right thing, and then every year it's like the best selling COD ever. So it's like you're telling Activision one thing, and then it's like we all just buy it anyway. So like what's the point of even telling them it's bad? Like we might as well just praise it, like just call it the best game ever, because we all fucking give them our money anyways, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
It's like I was talking about earlier, saying like, yeah, every year about this time, you know, around like the May till July era of Call of Duty, every year you get the people who post up on YouTube and like, I'm done with Call of Duty.
Yep.
And then the next one comes out like, dude, did you see the new one? It looks sick. It's gonna be so much better than the last one. I'm like, dog, I've been following Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, the original. This is the same cycle every single year. They're not gonna make it better. They really know how to make a good one. They just don't, because the whatever they do, they don't want to change it because whatever they're doing makes money.
Oh, yeah. It's like why change what you're doing if what you're currently doing, like for all they know, if they actually change stuff or they actually improve things, it might hurt sales. So why bother?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly. If you made the game too fair and too balanced, then you might actually run into issues with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why go the extra mile and do something really innovative when, you know, people are just going to buy the game regardless, even if it launches unfinished and broken.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else play Jedi Survivor? All right.
Nay.
Abyss, what have you played lately?
Honestly, I've been playing a whole lot of video games, but I got into Red Dead Redemption 2 again.
Oh,
right.
so good.
Recently.
So good.
I love that game. I used to watch one of my friends play it. I never played it, so I wanted to play it. So I bought that game.
I've been like low key, like every time it goes on sale on Steam, I'm like, do I? And then I go, don't. You already played through it, and you already have plenty of other first person game, single player games you need to play through them. I'm like, yeah, but it's so good though. Especially I haven't played it on PC. I played it on console at 30 frames.
Oh shit, yeah.
What have you just been playing?
It's pretty great.
Have you just been playing the single player or the multiplayer thing?
No, I didn't get the multiplayer.
Is it
It's
separate?
actually really fun too.
Is it? I haven't tried.
Yeah, the multiplayer is fun. They tried doing like basically like the GTA style multiplayer.
It like kind of missed though, if we're being honest, compared to GTA.
Yeah, it's definitely not nearly as popular. I don't know if it gets any more updates.
I don't think it does anymore. I think they just call. I mean, not that I like blame them, but I think they just realized like it wasn't worth it. They could just pump out fucking GTA Online updates.
Yeah, it's a shame because like I had so much fun with that open world multiplayer thing with Red Dead. Oh, it's so good.
When did Red Dead 2 come out? How long ago was that?
3 or 4 years ago.
2019.
Longer than that.
2018.
Shit.
18 or 17.
Well,
it's on Xbox One.
It came out the same year as the first God of War. Or, you know
Oh
what I mean?
shit. Okay. Yeah. And then it came out like what, a year later on PC, because it was late on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Dude. Yeah. Rockstar loves to do that because they did that with GTA 5 also, didn't they? Or it came out on like 360 and PS3, and then came out later on PC, I think.
I think it's like the only game that has more releases than Skyrim.
That's good. I'm happy for him. Fuck it, yeah. I don't know. When do we think GTA 6 is gonna be out? Like 10 years from now?
Probably.
The quote leaks was like 2025 or something.
You know, that's pretty soon. You remember when Rockstar used to actually like pump out games? It's a weird fucking thing to think about.
No.
Yeah, if you pull up like their Wikipedia, because they used to like have more than just GTA. Like they used to like do a bunch of shit.
Well, I want you to think about this. Think about them. Like they released GTA 5, like that specific studio, and From Software has released like the entire Dark Souls franchise in that time span. And they got Armored Core coming in. They had Elden Ring and the DLCs coming. So it's like any day now. Come on, GTA 6.
So for Abyss, because he's a bit younger. So if we start like, here-ish, right? So they released like what? Some Midnight Club games. You had GTA games. You had Smuggler's Run. You had Max Payne, Manhunt. And then they tried like random stuff like The Warriors, Bully, which was actually pretty good. And they did all sorts of random stuff. LA Noire, Max Payne, more Max Payne stuff. But yeah, now they literally just ship like a GTA game every 15 years. We just call it good with that. But yeah, fair enough. What's the Halo modding scene like these days?
I'm in super active, but there are some people making some cool shit. There's this guy making what's it called, from Halo Wars 2, that like the Hawk.
Oh yeah.
Made his own like custom model and shit. It looks really cool, like super professional. So that's sick. I wanted to do my like rapid mod review shit, but there isn't like that many mods coming out. So it's sad.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think I've said this a billion times, but as is tradition, 343 like missed the boat there. Like they took too long. By the time they got the mod tools and everything in place,
I mean, yeah,
like
MCC
Infinite was already
out
out.
for 2 years.
Yeah. Like imagine if
like,
the game had
so
shipped with
cool.
Reach mod tools. Like it would have been a whole different world.
Mm.
But
Like as the game comes out, you get mod tools as well. It would have been amazing.
Yeah. But alrighty. Mr. Pop Q2, have you played anything recently?
Yeah, I played a bit of Gunfight in Modern Warfare 2.
Ooh,
I
alright,
really enjoy
alright.
that. I've been waiting for that since the game launched, and I feel like it should have been there at launch, but it's here and it's a lot of fun. It's simple, and I really enjoy like simplicity in many games. But have you played it?
I have not.
Nathan? No.
I
I
should.
enjoyed it in 2019. I think it was Cold War that had it, but I
Yeah.
didn't play Cold War.
No, it
And,
was in 2019 it was like my favorite mode. I haven't played any COD recently. So like I don't know. I haven't been intrigued to relaunch it, but I should one of these days.
Yeah, and there's and honestly the maps in this, like I wish these were just like the normal maps. Like
Yeah.
all these maps are just better than the maps that we got at launch with MW2. It's funny, like once we got like every time we got like a new map for Modern Warfare 2, and they would have a playlist for like just that map, whether it was Shoot House, Shipment, that one map I forget the name of. Yeah, like that's the only map I'll play. Like I really do not want to play any of the default maps because I just hate them so much. But
Yeah.
like
No.
all the maps that they added post launch, it's like I like all them more than the default maps, and I really like the gunfight maps. For the
Yeah.
most part.
No, that's fair. Are you excited for ranked Warzone?
I haven't played Warzone in forever. I don't even know if that's something I would want. I'm just like disinterested in battle royales right now.
Yeah.
So
I feel you. I think that comes out pretty soon. Kevin should know. He's the COD kid around here now. Kevin, when does ranked Warzone come out?
I think May 10th, I think is when the Reloaded Season 3 comes around.
There we go, dude.
And another reason I'm just disinterested in like ranked gaming is cheaters. Like there's just so many cheaters in games now.
Yeah.
Like that's another reason modern gaming just sucks, is because cheaters are just running rampant in COD, Apex, MCC. Like it really ruins it. I mean, and it is pretty rampant.
Yeah.
The amount of cheating. At least in something like MCC, like it's like really obvious when somebody's cheating.
Yeah, they're like
usually,
flying around
the map, and I have theater mode to go back in and like check things out if I want to see if they're walling. I just hate this whole thing where it's like I like in some games where you don't know if somebody's cheating. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a problem.
I used to want more games to go the Valorant route and have just like kernel level anti-cheats because like fuck it, I don't care. But lately I can't play Valorant because it blue screens my PC every time I launch it. So I'm actually over that. I just let the cheaters in. At least I can play the video game. So I don't know what the fuck's wrong. Like it from what I've
crazy.
From what I've Googled, it's something to do with their anti-cheat. And I don't know, like there's probably a fix,
Did you
but I
just
can't
out
find
yourself as a cheater? Is that what's going on right now?
Oh
shit,
snap.
dude. Is that it catches the cheats and just blue screens my PC? That's fair. Maybe that's it, dude.
Exposed.
Yeah,
Exposed.
Exposed indeed.
Exposed.
All right. I played. Oh, Jared hasn't gone yet. Have you, Jared? What have you played lately?
I have not. Well, I've played an endless amount of games and probably put in like 250 hours this last month in games, but I'm just gonna talk about two of them. One is called Echoes of the Living. It was a demo I played, and it's like a Resident Evil inspired like survival horror game. And I kind of like the story behind the game because the people working on this game is just two devs that quit their jobs. I believe they are husband and wife. And this is like a passion project they're doing together just to kind of relive their, the olden days of the old games that they like to play. And they've actually, what they've presented is really, really well made. It's polished. It controls decently well. It could be a little weird trying to like run in a straight line because it is like that old school style like tank controls from the old Resident Evil games where no matter what direction you're looking, when you hold forward, you move forward.
Yeah.
So but like from what I've played, for the most part, the enemies are good. I don't like the dogs. The dogs attack too much. Like you can get trapped in a stagger animation and you'll just die. Like you can't run away from them. You can't really do anything. You just die. But outside of that, I mean, the zombies are fun to shoot. There's good feedback from the weapons. The puzzles are simple but fun. And it's like the layout of everything was like really nice. In the demo that they like had out for everyone, this ain't even part of the game. Like this was just for people to try the game out, and they're gonna have a demo out later this year from the actual full game. And this was like full of Easter eggs. Like there's like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider who was a zombie. The main like warehouse that you like go through constantly is directly from Resident Evil 3. So they had a bit of fun with this demo, but it's a game I'm really looking forward to. And then just the other game I want to kind of touch on is what you call it, Star Rail, Honkai Star Rail, which is a turn-based RPG created by the people who made Genshin Impact. So it's a gacha game, obviously. You can roll for characters, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, all of that good stuff if you want to, throw your wallet at the screen and hope you get a good character. But this game is actually really fun. Like for a turn-based RPG, this might be the best one I've played in like 20 years. Like the gameplay has no right being this good. The way you build up your character's abilities, the way they like synergize their abilities together, and just like the quality of the game in general. Like the animations, the story is good, the main character is interesting, even though he has some like weird backstories, like he likes to eat trash and stuff. Like they have some fun with the game, but it's cool what they've done with this game. It really is that good. I think it's already at like 20 plus million players, and they also use like AI to help make this game. Like this is one of the first big AAA games where AI has been used to help make the game. So it's cool what they're able to constantly do. Like they clearly know how to make a good game over there at Mio. So I recommend this game to anyone, even if they don't like turn-based RPGs or animes style games are even their thing. The gameplay is just that good, and so far as a free-to-play player, the game's been just fine. I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage playing through the game, not paying for better characters. So it's a good game.
I'm really intrigued about the man eating the garbage.
Yeah, he's like a wet dog. Like it's a great time.
So the only thing that I've seen about this game is there was a Valorant pro team that forfeited because their player was too busy playing this game. So if that doesn't tell
amazing.
you, if that doesn't tell you how good it is, I don't know what does.
Who cares about this tournament? I got to get my waifu on this poll.
Yep, basically. But alrighty.
Also, I do want to. I did start playing Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda. And
oh yeah.
I don't know if people are gonna like my opinion on it when I make that video.
Sheesh.
You got the new game coming out next week.
I know.
I hated how all my weapons would break when I played Breath of the Wild. It used to tilt me.
Yeah, that sucks.
But
I don't
besides
like
that, it was a fine game. Those aren't really like my thing, so it was good. But
No.
me and Kevin have played at least one other game. It's a little FPS game known as Combat Master.
Yeah.
And this is one of the greatest FPS games in years, you know? But not actually. But basically, this is like if you took Modern Warfare 2019, right? And you copied as much of it as possible and you put it on a phone, and then like 4 years later you ported that to PC. That's Combat Master. And it made the rounds on Twitter like a week or two ago because like the movement's pretty cracked and you can kind of like dumpster kids on their phone who can't aim at you and feel really good about yourself. But it oddly enough, the game is like gaining steam, or like let me show you on Steam.
More people are playing this on Steam than Halo Infinite.
Yeah, well that says a lot about a certain game. But if you pull up the Steam charts for good old Combat Master, it's starting to, okay, it did peak. It's starting to trail off a little bit, but like for the whole like first week that this was out, or like the first 10, 12 days, it was gaining players. Like not a ton, like the peak is still 7,100 players, but like it was gaining players like day by day, and it looks like only recently, as of a few days ago, it started going down. My understanding is there's a battle royale coming out for this like mega soon, like within a couple of weeks, which is just a Warzone ripoff basically. So all the fucking Warzone kids that complain that Warzone 2 doesn't have movement, maybe they'll all go play Combat Master together. But
Please.
the problem is that I'm pretty sure like if you even open the game, the entire global chat is just people selling cheats. So I have to imagine the game is just cheat infested.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's absolutely, it can confirm. That's basically what the chat is. It's just, hey, free cheats or whatever, or selling cheats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the COD kids complain that this Call of Duty is the worst Call of Duty. Yeah, just see. Yeah, try to play some COD clones and see how much you like those.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I don't know. It's probably better than I initially gave it credit for, but at the end of the day, it is a mobile version of COD that is on your computer. Like that is what it is. So if that's what you want to play, like, be my guest. But I think the only reason it really has players is just because of how down bad COD is, if we're being honest. But I guess, hey, do what you can.
Yeah, people like to complain. Every Call of Duty is the worst Call of Duty until the next Call of Duty, and then that's the worst one.
Yeah. Speaking of,
you mentioned Warzone real quick. I just want to, I something I wanted to ask real quick is, it seems like people didn't praise Warzone 1 until Warzone 2 came out. Like I remember back when like Warzone 1 was like the main thing, people were bitching about that, and tons of people switched to Apex. Like I don't remember people raving about it. Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, like it seems like after Warzone 2 came out, then people are acting like Warzone 1 was the best shit ever. Like, no.
Again, like I said, the cycle continues of whatever the new Call of Duty is, that's the worst Call of Duty. But the next Call of Duty is going to fix it all. That's what the cycle has been for the last decade. Modern Warfare 2 is a good game. I don't care what anybody says. I feel like every time I click on a Call of Duty channel, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I'm like, what are you talking about? This game is fun. It's the first Call of Duty I've actually sat down and actually like grinded and played since like Black Ops 1.
I mean, the game is fine if you like that play style. My issue with the game is more the fact that like the multiplayer side of the game doesn't get fucking shit. Like we're what, like half a year into it, and it's gotten like 1 or 2 actual new maps, right? At this point, like that's more my issue with MW2 than the gameplay. Although I'm not like a huge fan of the short time to kill, kind of like camp in a corner style gameplay, but it does that fine. Like it does what it's trying to do well.
Yeah, there's definitely things like I do really like it about the game. Things I like more about this COD than any of the other CODs. Like I just think the movement feels really good in Modern Warfare 2. But like I said, like the maps, like at least the launch maps, I hate them. So there's things I do really like about it, which is why I bought it. But yeah, it's definitely not the worst COD.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely put my hours into MW2. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not like I haven't played it. I mean, I kind of fell off it at this point, but like, it's fine. It's an okay game.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. I did. No, this isn't a new game, but speaking of COD clones, I did recently hop back into Iron Sight, which is like, whereas Combat Master is Black Ops or Combat Master is MW2. Iron Sight is basically if you would have taken like Black Ops 2 and remade it. The only thing is like this came out years ago off of Steam and then eventually it like came to Steam, but it's a Korean developer that basically made free to play Black Ops 2, but it still gets like seasonal updates. Like they recently added a new gun and a new map, so I hopped back in. And I'm not going to tell you it's the best game in the world, but I will say like in the world where I feel like every game, even MW2 to some degree, even though like the Warzone kids will fucking have a gasket, like every game feels like this cracked movement simulator where like so everyone on Twitter is competing to make their screen shake around the most while they get like one kill. And you go back to play this and it's just like old school, like slow COD. Like you just run, sometimes you jump, and that's about it. Like it's kind of refreshing to play. Like I think maybe it's because I'm just fucking old, but like you just run around and aim at stuff. Because like even MW2, like you play ranked, you're constantly spamming tac sprint, you're constantly jumping around corners. Like you're still doing all sorts of like movement-y things, and this is just like you just chill, you just shoot. But
even then, that's kind of what I like about Modern 2. It kind of still gets scratches that itch a little bit for me as well.
But is it as chill as floating in space and shooting guns with no sound?
No, but that game fucking I don't know, man. Yeah, is that game dead yet? It's got to be, right?
It's 100% dead.
But yeah. So I mean, Iron Sight I think is pretty small on PC. Also, if you look it up, one of the top Steam reviews is that it has like malware in the game. So I don't know, download at your own risk, I guess. I will say I downloaded the game and I don't think it broke my PC, but then again, Valorant doesn't work anymore, so for all I know, maybe it did cause that. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoy Iron Sight.
Specifically broke Valorant.
I enjoy.
I never played it, but I feel like I should give it a go. I don't mind a little bit of online spying.
Yeah, it's a decent game. I mean,
as long as I have fun for 10 minutes.
Yeah. It never got huge on Steam, and I think a lot of that came from like the weird publishing scenario where so this game was originally off Steam on the Nexon launcher. Or no, it was on the Aria launcher, which I've never played a different game other than like it's some Korean launcher, right? And then the publisher at the time, like Aria Games, put it on Steam, and then they just decided like, nah, fuck it, and they just shut the game down. And then the dev studio, like Whipple Games, like got the rights back and put the game back on Steam. So like some people just think the game is straight up shut down, but it never really had any marketing or anything, which I mean most like Asian free to play shooters don't, but I don't know. I feel like if this dropped today with like all the hype that you see for Combat Master and X Defiant, I feel like this would actually it would at least have its like 2 weeks of everyone posting about it on Twitter. But the fact that it came out like years ago and like no one really remembers about it and like some people just think it's like shut down means it's like mega niche. Like I'd have to look, but I'd guess like it probably peaks at like 1K players or something. But
yeah, I think it released like right around the Black Ops 2 timeframe, if I remember correctly. So it's been out for a long time.
No, it was after Black Ops 2. It was like it was like 20, maybe 16 or 17, maybe. I don't know. It had been a few years since Black Ops 2 came out when this came out, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, me and Jared played Boundary. I don't know if you have much more to say about Boundary, Jared, but I just don't really care for it. You just float around.
I just wish I could hear.
Yeah, you just float around in space and shoot things.
And the radar is atrocious in this game.
Sure.
Bring this up and show the radar.
Yeah,
I need everyone to see this monstrosity of a. Well,
there you
okay,
go.
this is not helping. Look at that radar. Tell me what's happening on that.
So, someone told me if you've played like Space Fighters, you would understand the radar, and I was like, yeah, but it's an FPS game. Like,
but you're in space.
I'm not playing Elite Dangerous.
Fly.
Like, I'm not fucking flying a spaceship.
You do effectively have 3D, like area to take
Yeah.
in consideration rather than the 2D playing for most.
No,
Like the
for sure.
multiplayer game?
Multiplayer. So I guess I can see. I can make like you got a bunch of people to the right. They're kind of like below you. Yeah, I can see that.
Yep. It draws lines to everything up, down, but it's just like, you just could have different shapes. Oh, circle is up, triangle is down. I don't know.
Yeah,
Give me a little customization.
Is this the only map?
and
No, they just all look the same because they're all in space.
Oh, okay.
I will say, is everyone on the map the whole time?
What do you mean? You just float around in space and shoot people?
No, I'm saying like on the mini map. Are you just always on the mini map?
Oh, no, there's like a range to it.
Yeah, okay, but still, like if you're in within like basically kill range of somebody, they're gonna know you're there.
It's probably a little longer than kill range. Well, nah, yeah, it's kill range, I guess.
Yeah, and then there's like abilities that make you it stretches like the whole map, so it's just like I think
Mm,
it's a little cluster. It's like, oh, I see a guy, but he's across the map, so why do I need to see him?
Yeah,
Right.
this is a class-based shooter too. There's different classes, and the different classes have like different guns that you use. But it's like really weird because if you level up a class, you'll just unlock the other class's guns. So I don't know if they just ran out of weapons to unlock or something.
I feel like this game only exists just to be Call of Duty in space.
Yeah, I think this is a
Yeah.
gimmick that like should have been like a tech demo at E3 if E3 still existed.
But the animations are
some
really good.
pepperonis.
I do want to say that.
Yeah, they are. Let's look up the player base of Boundary before we move on.
Oh boy.
What do you get? What do you guess, Jared? What's your guess?
1,200.
Ooh, 397 players. You
I was gonna say it's
missed.
around 300.
Yeah.
I tried to be positive.
Although it did peak at 950 today. It must be like an EU game. Or maybe it's in Asia. I don't know. You actually, never mind. When you fucking play the game, half the servers you get put on are in Asia, and you can't change that. It has a server selection, but it doesn't matter. You can turn off all the Asian servers, and it'll still force you to play Asian servers. So, I was a big fan of that. Besides that, I played a little indie arena shooter called Cross Planet. I don't know if you guys have seen this one.
Ooh.
It's
Never
like
heard of it.
it's like a third-person arena shooter. It's not out yet. They had like an alpha test a few weeks ago. I mean, for an indie game, it's good. That's about probably where I would leave it. I mean, kind of looks like if you took Splitgate and you made it third person. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you're craving arena shooters, keep an eye out on this one. Might be worth a check out. But
Are you still playing Roblox Battlefield?
Well, if they ever release the fucking game, I would, Kevin. So Kevin's talking about BattleBit, which is a fucking banger of a video game, but they do one playtest every weekend. They won't release the fucking game, and the playtest is like in the morning on Saturdays. So no, I never play anymore. But if they launch the goddamn game,
to try one of the play tests, and I'm like, wait, I can't play. Oh,
Mm-mm.
I missed the play test. I'm like, I was thinking at night, and I'm like, nope.
no,
Like,
no,
oh,
it's like
shit.
in the morning on a Saturday every
Next
time. Yeah, so if they ever release the game, I'll play more of it. It's very fun. But all right, let's see. Any other games anyone's played recently?
I think you kind of got me down for Survivor and a little bit of Combat Master.
Yeah.
Really, just for the video, just to kind of test it out.
Fair enough. Well, Abyss, what are you looking forward to these days? Is there anything on the horizon that you want to play?
Not really, but there's this one game that someone got for me. It's called Sons of the Forest that
Oh, yeah.
he's really been raving about. Not really sure what it's about because I haven't started playing it yet, but
It's like a
I'm gonna try
survival
to get
game.
into it soon. It looks terrifying.
Did you get the second one?
No, the first one.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Wait, no. Sons of the Forest is the second because the Forest is
Yeah.
the first one, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, Sons of the Forest basically just the forest, just like with more features.
I've never
Yeah.
played either of them, so
If I have one tip of this, build your house in a location where it won't get like struck by lightning.
Alright. I can get struck by lightning.
And hope to God no one throws grenades at it either, because
Okay.
then it goes away
Very cool.
very fast.
You would think so. You think
It's
grenades
depressing.
would make a house go away?
Alrighty. Well, I think that covers all the stuff we've been playing. I mean, is there anything anyone is looking forward to coming up? I can't think of a whole lot that's coming up soon, unless I'm just
I can't
completely
think of anything.
blanking.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
I'm looking forward to.
I probably won't play that.
I hope it's good.
Or I'll play it like years after when I care. Maybe I'll wait till they make it so I can emulate it at like 60 FPS on PC.
There you go. Just
Yeah.
don't tell Nintendo, they might sue you for 14 million.
Yeah. Nintendo's real nice about that kind of stuff. I watched.
Yeah, Nintendo's real chill.
I saw the Mario movie with my kid
Oh, yeah?
on Tuesday. Honestly, goated movie. Like
I
maybe
still
not
need to see
goated,
it.
but it's a very good Mario movie. I don't know why people are like criticizing it. It's got like a bunch of cool like Easter eggs and stuff. I don't know how much I should spoil because it is like relatively new.
Oh
but like,
man, I could go on for days.
yeah,
about
if you've played Mario games, and like I'm not even a huge Mario person, but like if you've played the games, it's like a must see. Like it's such like a cool like little movie. I don't know, and my kid loved it, so it was like a twofer.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, but yeah, so we did talk about Redfall. Can you? It's a really good game.
Alrighty.
It's some people's broken game, other people's game of the year.
Yeah, according to devs. Let's talk about that. All right, so I saw a lot of a little
Oh
hubbub
boy.
on Twitter today, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying every game dev does this because there's probably a billion more that aren't weird. But today a bunch of people came out, and so I think it started because the Redfall devs came out saying like, we're surprised so many people hate our game, which like, I don't know. I mean, you probably played your own game. Probably should have figured that one out on your own, but apparently you missed the boat and thought it was good. Whatever. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you miss, right? You miss and you take the L and you say we thought this game was better than it is. We missed and we'll go do something else. That's what you do. But instead, the Redfall devs have gone on down the crusade of saying like game dev is hard, blah blah blah. And it's like, I mean, game dev is very hard. So I get you, but at the end of the day, the game is bad. So like, what do you want consumers to tell you when you're trying to charge them $70? That's what I don't understand is like, I get the premise. Game dev is very complicated and a singular dev at the studio is not why the game sucks. Like those big AAA games they have so many hands in them, so many different producers, so many different visions. Like the end product is probably not anyone's vision, right? It's like a bunch of different people. But if the end product is bad, I don't know what you expect out of consumers. When you're trying to sell them a $70 video game, I know you can play it through Game Pass, but if you're trying to sell that product, or even if it's a free-to-play game, like people are gonna say this game is shit, and for some reason that has like shaken the core of certain people on Twitter, and I've just been seeing all these game devs come out and say like that. I don't know, like basically the only premise I get is that we shouldn't criticize video games because game dev is hard. And it's like a lot of things in life are hard. Like if my fucking doctor killed me when I was on the operating table, I would expect them to get criticized. But being a surgeon is hard. So I guess not. Just murder me. Fuck it. I don't care.
I can see like having that argument when we're talking about like specific parts of it, like, oh, they can just easily fix this, they can just easily do that. It's like, well, it's not that simple. It's not always just a simple solution. I could see like that response working there, but overall, if it's just like, oh, I don't like the video game, it's like, well, game dev's hard. It's like, well, you made a bad video game.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Like if we were like diving deep into about like a specific thing that people want to change, and you're like, well, it's not as simple as that, like interacts with all these other systems, but like unanimously, like Redfall is reviewed horrifically, and the player base has reviewed the game. Like people don't like Redfall. It is. I know like there was a game dev that said some people's like bad experience is another person's game of the year. But if Redfall is your game of the year, you should like I'm confused.
Play other games.
You
Am I
gotta load something. You gotta
Am
fucking
I
put.
the only one who's concerned that this is a full gameplay of the game and it's 5 hours? Like the main story is only 5 hours. Like I think this is what Sirocco or whatever his channel is, but like this is terrible. I didn't even realize it was that short. Even if it's just the main story,
Dude, it would be even shorter if it didn't do that fucking annoying thing where like open world gates you, where like you can't just blast through the main quest because at some point it'll be like, oh sorry, you have to take over 4 areas of the open world before you can continue the main quest line. It's like, thanks guys, I think Ubisoft did this for fucking 10 years straight. I'm good. But
wow.
yeah, so I don't know, man. Like I don't it worries me that like I feel like we've gotten to
the vampires.
Yeah, where are the
It's
enemies?
worrisome that like the devs aren't recognizing the issues with the game as much as consumers are. Like that's the problem. Like I always see people saying like you can't blame the devs. Like I've seen it with various different games. It's not their fault. It's the fault of the higher ups, the suits, the investors. And sure, I'm sure they're to blame as well. But like when you have developers not recognizing the issues with these games, I mean, I gotta of course they're partially to blame for it. But people act like they hold none of the blame for the state of the game at launch.
Yeah, and I think the weirdest thing to me is like obviously people shouldn't be like harassing game devs, right? But like I understand if you worked on like the art or the animation or like some specific part like you would in a AAA game. The whole game isn't your fault, but also
you
like
could be proud of the work you did on it.
Yeah,
your work might have turned out great.
Yeah,
but it's like a final product. Like
unfortunately the game is bad. So like people are gonna say the game is bad. They're not gonna be like, well, Redfall's a dog shit game, but that tree looked really fucking good. Good job. Like they're just gonna say the game's bad.
I think we can all kind of see it, especially. I mean, we saw this definitely with Halo Infinite, but I think now it's really faults on both ends, the publisher and the developers, because I'm sure the developers probably promised the sky, and the publishers are like, okay, where is the sky? And they're like, oh, well, we need a little bit more time. It's like, well, you told me to be done by kind of thing. So obviously, it's that on the studio side of things to manage the team properly, set proper expectations on timelines and things like that, rather than try to cram everything all in at once. Because I think we've kind of seen the majority of like the game development happens mostly within the final year of a game's development, where like first year or two they're kind of just like creating the tech and testing things out kind of thing. And so I mean, like, I think we've seen this also with Destiny as well, when it comes, or every Bungie game effectively, where like at launch there was like, what the heck's this, almost, like Halo 2 being buggy as hell. I mean, I guess like CE and 3 and Reach were good releases, but it's especially with like Destiny, right, where like you could definitely tell some stuff was cut that was supposed to be in the game, and maybe whose fault's that? That's the developers right there, trying not properly setting expectations and timelines.
Yeah, and like I see there are like timelines that they have to meet, and publishers do care about like the game releasing in a certain window and stuff like that, and of course they want to profit from the game as much as possible, but like the publisher, like they've always cared about that stuff. They cared about that stuff back when gaming was good, so like that's nothing new. Like what changed where it's just shit now? Like
True. Good. Very true. Yeah.
I think
that's what I think about. Like the higher ups have always cared about the same things they care about now. Like that hasn't changed.
Yeah, I think to Kevin's point, like games have just grown too big. Like I think too many studios have these like, because the technology is there, so you really can do all these amazing things, but then they forget, like they just misjudge how long that's going to take, and then they're 4 years deep into a 5-year dev cycle, and the publisher's like, where the fuck's the video game? And they're like, well, it's still in like mega early alpha, it won't be ready for like 3 years. And then the publisher's like, no, like we'll delay it once and then you ship the game, so just like put something together. And then you end up with like a bunch of hodgepodge like concessions, which is like effectively what Halo Infinite's campaign is, right? Like from what we've gathered from different stories is like there was so much more there, but between like vision changes and running out of time, like so much of it was cut, which is why like, I mean, some people love Infinite's campaign, but it's kind of why it ended up the way it did. And I feel like that's a lot of AAA games these days. Not all of them, because some of them seem to come out and like be very good still, but like some of them definitely feel like, well, who knows? Like, I'm curious what the fuck happened with Redfall. I want to know at what point anyone thought any part of this game was good, dude. Like, I actually don't understand. Because, like, I could, with other games that have turned out badly, like, if we want to talk, like, Anthem, or we want to talk, like, fuck it, if we even want to mention Fallout 76, like, the vision, the idea kind of makes sense to me, right? Like, I think those could have been good games, but, like, I legitimately don't know a world where this concept makes any sense to release in 2023. I saw a dev, and let me see if I can pull up the picture, because, that wasn't the screenshot that you had. Oh, wait, it was one of my quote tweets, but he blocked me, so I don't know if I'll be able to see it. Hold on.
Yeah, I think I was blocked by that guy, too.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up on, like, incognito mode. It might be the best way to do it. All right, let me grab a little incognito mode action. But so this is a Blizzard dev, and so he is saying, oh, what the fuck? Even on incognito mode? Oh, he must have like closed his account. He must have got flamed too hard.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's a new one. Holy
oh wait,
shit.
we found it. Okay. People hating on Redfall or Forspoken are the same people who played 1,000 hours of Skyrim or Borderlands, and all of those games are equally fun and flawed. I'm so sick of the mob mentality dogpiling. And so, like, I'm not going to touch on the Forspoken or Skyrim thing, because I didn't play Forspoken, and Skyrim to me is, like, it's a good game, but it's never, like, something I loved, right? But so, from this perspective of Redfall is like Borderlands... first of all, Borderlands came out in like 2010. So, you know, we have 13 years of game development. You probably should innovate a little bit. But on top of that, Redfall, in my opinion, is a worse Borderlands in every way, shape, and form. The loot is less interesting. The AI is worse. There's no character building. If there's one thing Borderlands did great was all those stupid like cutscenes and like all the cheesy like they jumped in. They, like every fucking character had personality and they were all different. And here Redfall, like I couldn't name a single character in the video game. I couldn't even name you the names of the classes that I picked from. Like I don't even I don't get how devs think this. Like, how do you look at Redfall and be like, yeah, it's like Borderlands? I mean, you know, it's like, do you not understand the concept of like, well, one, like I said, Redfall is a worse game. But even if it was just Borderlands reskinned with some vampires, like, dude, you have to improve the genre. If you just re-release the same shit that came out 13 years ago, like, even that's not going to sell well. Like, I don't know, man.
Well, and how are games supposed to, like, obviously he has the right to his opinion or whatever, but at what point do you have to just admit a bad game is a bad game and someone messed up somewhere? You can't use this mentality that, oh, the game is just not to your taste, because that's kind of majority of his arguments. It's not that it's a bad game. He pretty much says there's no such thing as a bad game. It's just it's just not a game for you, but it is for someone else. Well, if one person likes the game and 40 million people say it's a bad game, I'm sorry, it's a bad game. Like, find me one person that will say Redfall is their game of the year. Just go ahead. Who is it? Who out here loves this game?
It's Luke. It's Luke. That's why he didn't show up.
They're sick in the head.
That's why he's not here.
Sick in the head.
He knew he would get flamed.
Like, man, like if it was like 6 months from now or a year from now, and let's just say Arcane makes the game better, okay, sure, you can, like, I understand if you, oh yeah, I like this game, but right now in its current state, like, you just got to be honest about it. Like, it's okay to be critical of the game. Like, obviously, like I said, don't harass devs. Like, don't do anything that's, you know, wrong. But it's okay to criticize what they've done wrong in a respectful way. And respectfully, this game is shit. So it is what it is.
I would agree. Yeah, I don't. I think the most worrying trend for me is that there's just a bunch of people that don't think we should criticize things anymore, and it's like, yes, we shouldn't be harassing devs. You shouldn't even really be like. In my opinion, I think part of the problem is that devs are too public facing. Like, I'm not flaming an Apple engineer because I have no clue who the fuck the Apple engineer is, right? Like, he's not on Twitter like telling me about the tree he made, right? But like, these devs get on after they make a game, and they, like, rightfully so, they want like some affirmation that the thing they spent 5 years on was worth working on, right? And the problem is in my opinion, he says like games should be looked at as like an art form. Like, yeah, there's shit art. Like, sure,
what, like
there's some,
or like as a game it's shit.
Yeah, or like
it can look nice if that's what you mean.
When a fucking rapper or an artist puts out a shit uninspired album, we all fucking dog on them, right? And like, I don't, are we just supposed to be like, oh, you know, you put out really bland music this time. It seems like you threw this together, but you know what? It's music, so like, good job, you did it. You made an album. Like,
albums are hard.
Yeah, albums are hard. Like, I don't get what the concept is here. Like, is this just like the act of making a video game alone should just like rid it of criticism? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
I found that probably also being a little hyperbolic with that, and probably only really seeing like the really people who go like, this is the worst freaking thing I've ever played, or like, this is, you know, people are like, you know, people kind of go a little extra when it comes to criticisms for whatever, just to get like likes on the internet and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and
they're probably just thinking of that. And they're probably thinking like, you know, they're probably thinking like people are getting death threats for having Redfall being launched in a bad state or whatever. And so he's like trying to stand up for the homies kind of thing.
For sure. And that kind of stuff like shouldn't be happening. But part of that's just like Twitter is a fucking cesspool, right?
Yeah.
But like, maybe you shouldn't be like, I don't know, like maybe don't interact with people on Twitter if you know that's what you're going to get. Like,
oh yeah, with that stuff, you just kind of need a post and ghost.
Yeah,
just like just release the game and just kind of like passively see comments, observe, and just kind of like, okay, that's the general sentiment of this.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But we were approaching Kevin's time to leave, so we probably can kind of wrap it up unless you guys have any other that we talked about Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Xbox. Yeah. Okay, that was really all the main stuff I had today because I figure we'll save that other topic for a whole nother podcast. We'll make Luke get on that one.
Right.
But yeah, I think that.
Dude, have you played Redfall? It's so great.
I hope he gets on and tells me how much he loves Redfall. I hope he does. No, but in chat he said this is like open world Back 4 Blood. And what's funny is I would much rather play Back 4 Blood because I feel like Back 4 Blood, while it's not an amazing game, like had character. Like the gunplay was kind of fun and like it made sense. It like what it was trying to do made sense to me. It was just held back by the fact that like the card system was kind of weird, and also it was just competing against itself. Like it's hard to put out Back 4 Blood years after Left 4 Dead came out with all of the additions and all of the mods and stuff, and then put out Back 4 Blood and like try and go head to head with that because it's really like the first thing people will compare it to, right? Though I will say I would go on record saying I think Back 4 Blood has like better gunplay than Left 4 Dead did. Like I think it's more like modernized. Like Left 4 Dead's is very like source engine-y.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
But yeah, I would much rather play Back 4 Blood than this. I think Back 4 Blood was like an average video game, right? Nothing amazing. Whereas Redfall is just a straight bad game. Like I think Back 4 Blood should have released and it sold some copies and then it just kind of slowly kind of teetered off because they did like multiple seasons of content. Whereas like this should have been canceled pre-launch, and I hope to God Arcane doesn't spend time fixing this game because like I'd much rather them just make a new video game. They like make a game that they're better at making, or even if they're insistent on making a multiplayer live service game, just try again. Because like
and even if you know the game's gonna be bad, like let's say they accept the fact the game's in a bad state. Just say, hey, this game's messed up. It's going to be like $20, not 60, not 70, not 100. It's going to be an early access game we're going to work on for the next couple years. Like, because you're already going to be losing money with so many negative reviews. So you might as well just accept that fact and go a route where you're probably not going to have to issue really any refunds at all and just go $20 for the game. We're going to work on it. We'll try to make it better. Like that might be a better route for future devs or studios.
I do wonder though, like Redfall specifically, how much of the dev money is this even recouping? Who was actually buying Redfall? Because like I played it through Game Pass, and it's the only reason I played it. If I had to pay $70 for this game, I would not have played it. Like I would have seen the reviews and just never purchased it. I feel like
always somebody.
Yeah, but I mean, there's somebody, but like I feel like this can't have sold very well. Like, I mean, I guess let's look at this.
They're profiting like what they, their goal was.
Yeah, let's look this up. So if we look at like, so to play it on Steam, you would have had to buy it. So let's see. On Steam, it maxed out at 6,000 players. That's fucking horrific for a AAA video game.
Wait, what? Wow.
Yeah. So like,
I mean, I guess it's the Game Pass.
I mean, a lot of people played it through Game Pass, but that's my point. Like, I mean, it's sold more than 6,000 copies, obviously. So it would have sold like.
You also got to remember, like, many of those people might have already, had Game Pass. They didn't necessarily get Game Pass for this game. So
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know how to. Let's see, Steam like best sellers maybe. Top sellers. Here we go. Let's see if it's even on the list. It is.
Dead air.
Not even on the page.
Oh no.
And this is a very long page. And it is not on this page.
Damn.
This sold. Wait, hold on. How does this top sell? I don't think this is top sellers of all time because like Star Wars is up here, right?
I mean, to play Battlefront 2 again. You really want to play that game again.
Like, yeah, Hunt Showdown's on here, so like it's. I don't know how it organizes this,
sort
but
by the right thing.
Well, there's only one thing. There's just sort by relevance and then like release date. They just have a top sellers page, but like I don't know how to pull how many sales it. But anyways, my guess is it didn't sell very well. I think most people played it through Game Pass would be my guess. So at that point, like, did you even recoup your development costs? I mean, I would say you get money from Xbox to be on Game Pass, but like, do you if you're an Xbox studio? Probably not, right? So Xbox just like hopes that people sign up for Game Pass to play Redfall, I guess. But like,
I think they did say though, like the last quarter, Game Pass made like 1.8 billion or something like that, or there's some stupid number.
Yeah, I mean Game Pass does well, but I mean like how much of that dial is Redfall like in its current state moving Game Pass subscriptions?
0.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you really, I like, I don't even think it's worth paying like $15 to play in its current state. Like it's very, very bland. But I don't know. Okay. Well, I think that'll wrap it up. So we can kind of say what we're up to these days. Abyss, what are you up to these days? Abyss is dead. Okay. Mr. Pop Q2, what are you up to these days?
Nothing.
Perfect.
Absolutely
Perfect.
Nothing.
All right.
Just nothing.
Kevin?
Just still gaming, still posting stuff on for GameStop and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you follow. No, actually, I should be going out to the Diablo release party at the end of this month, right? To go film that. And I think I'm also going to down in Los Angeles, and I think I'm also going to New York like a week later for the Diablo release that we're doing something at some store. And I think I'm going back to Los Angeles again for Summer Game Fest. That's all within like a 2-week period, going 3 different places across the country. But
Kevin's
so I
fancy now.
should keep myself pretty busy right there. But on the Kevin Kulik side of things, still posting boring Halo videos, and then I've been kind of delving a little bit into
I love Halo videos.
On the second channel, I've actually been trying to delve a little bit more into the second channel, do a little more like variety gameplay stuff, like whatever I'm interested in. have some fun with it, record it, post it, kind of like just see what happens. And some videos got some traction, some videos were completely dead, but you know, just it's kind of fun trying out just like a new challenge just for fun, just kind of just like yeah, just doing whatever I want on it really. So if well, there's a new thing to do on that.
I feel that.
And
That's what I've been doing with my RS live channel. I just like play whatever floats my boat, and then I just record it, and then I cut it up, and like post it. So it's like mostly like low effort stuff. So when it like flops, you're like whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. Yeah, it's just kind of like live com, just jump in, play it, and be like, oh, check out this thing. You know.
Yep.
That's basically what I'm doing on that. And some videos do well, some don't. It's whatever. Like I said, I'm more focused on my main channel, which is just keeping up with the Halo content and doing all that stuff there.
Yeah, also channels. I did actually make a second channel recently. Haven't uploaded to it yet, but I do plan to plan to put out like simpler, low effort videos on there.
Holy shit!
PopQ, it's
Pop Q1.
It's PopQ 22. PopQ 22.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that.
All right, that Jared. Was my second gamer tag back in the day after I made.
Oh shit! Was it? Yeah. All right. Well, Jared, what have you been up to, or what will you be up to?
Let's see. Breath of the Wild video this month. Tears of the Kingdom video this month. Then like probably Lord of the Rings, Golem video, which I don't have much confidence in that game.
Yeah, well, I was like, I saw that game on like a release list, and I'm like, is it? It's not like a big budget game, is it?
It's a AAA game as far as I know, but
why is there like zero marketing?
I don't think they have a lot of faith in the game. Like if you've watched gameplay, it just does not.
Yeah, I saw like a clip of the little guy kind of climbing up a wall, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, but outside of that, probably a Star Rail review coming, and then the first weekend of June, I'll start streaming. That's when my streams will start. So.
Shit!
He's becoming a famous, I don't know what platform, but a famous streamer.
He's becoming he's just becoming a famous.
Oh, yeah, he's just becoming a famous, dude.
So that should be good. And outside of that, I'll just try not to die at my job. So.
Yeah, that seems to be like that's actually a toss up for you these days.
Yeah, it seems like we see like in the DMs, it's always just like, hey, this person like tried killing us, or is creepily watching us, or hey, I sliced open something. This is crazy.
Yep, it's just normal. It's a normal day in paradise.
Pretty much par for the course for Jared's job, dude. But alrighty, I mean, you can, like I said, I've been uploading like quicker stuff to RS Live, mostly. Not really expecting like big growth or anything. It's mostly just so that I stop uploading that on my main channel. Because I found that I get a little antsy if I don't upload anything for a while. So if I just like shove it on a different channel, it gets that out of the way. But I've been putting a lot of time and effort into like really high quality like scripted stuff about gaming basically. And I've had a couple videos kind of pop off lately. So we'll see where the next one goes. I think we're all 10 people here. I think my next video, which like we're talking like 2-3 weeks from now, but like I think it's gonna be about live service games and how like it's basically impossible to keep up with all of them, and you just end up like in this world where you feel stuck playing a game, or you end up in a world where it's like nothing is out, but in reality there's a bunch of things out. It's just you don't want to dive into like season 15 of Apex. So anyways, that'll probably be the next video, I think, unless I do something about gaming sucking. I don't know, but nah. I'm also hosting a Halo tournament on the 19th. Hosting a doubles tournament. We even got a sponsor, so it's pretty exciting. So make sure you guys show up to that. I hope it kind of does some numbers, so I can maybe get more sponsors in the future for stuff. But we're hosting like a creator 2v2 event, so like all the big Halo streamers and some of the big Halo YouTubers, they're all coming along. It's gonna be fun. It's supposed to be a little bit more casual. We tried to not include like pro players or like really sweaty comp players, so it's gonna be like hopefully creators can kind of have a fun time. Though I'm sure it'll still get a little sweaty, obviously. But we're also showcasing some Forge maps during the tournament, so I think it'll be pretty fun. Yeah, that's the 19th, so keep an eye out for that. I mean, I've already announced it, so you can see all the announcements and stuff and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's what I'm up to. I think that about does it. I will upload, since I'm not multi-streaming anymore, I'll upload the VOD for this over on YouTube tomorrow and podcast platforms tomorrow. So like Spotify and all that jazz.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much does it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a couple weeks. Maybe we'll get back on schedule and do these every couple weeks. I don't know. I've obviously been a little busy because I had a little kiddo, so it was hard to find time to stream and whatnot. But yeah, I think appreciate everyone for watching. Appreciate everyone for coming. Thank you, Abyss. I don't know if you're alive, but appreciate you coming on. I think
someone filled Luke's role.
Yeah, dude. I think he fell asleep, honestly.
I think he's actually asleep right now.
But no, I appreciate everyone for watching, and yeah, we'll see you all next time. We'll find someone to raid real fast because you're not streaming, are you, Kevin? Because you're leaving.
No, yeah, I'm not streaming.
All right, we'll go raid.
I'm actually kind of taking a little bit of a step back from streaming.
Oh, I've been doing that too, actually. I've been streaming like once or twice a week, and I've actually found it really refreshing.
Yeah, so it helps me put more time into YouTube content where there's actual discoverability.
Yeah, I feel like I've grinded so much on Twitch just to be like at the same spot. And it's like, it's kind of nice to take a step back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, goodbye, everyone.
The piss quit.